Okay, so in 2015, the Steam controller is finally due for release. Now, as you can see, the buttons on the control follow a similar theme to what you would do in Joy to Key, where the different buttons are keyed to the left mouse button, the right mouse button, the scroll wheel, scrolling up and down, shift on the keyboard, the usual settings that you have in the games, like F, Q, C, tab. Like, that's what my Joy to Key tends to be on the most part anyway, so it does copy that. But you might notice that they have got rid of the main thing that most controllers seem to have, which is the actual... I don't know why I'm not looking at the camera while I'm doing that, because I was reading the screen and forgot I was actually recording. Yeah, the actual joysticks, yeah, my knackered controller that's now completely busted. Hence why I want the Steam controller to come out already, because I can't play a lot of games that are controller only, and you can't play on the keyboards, which is the downside, especially considering when I bought this controller, it's mapped like a PlayStation 3 controller. It's a PC controller, so I figured, yeah, it'd be fine with most games. This was before the Xbox 360 took over and everything was Xbox 360 controllers. Yeah, I've got an Xbox 360 as well, but I can't actually use the controller on the PC because I have a wireless controller and I don't have the wireless interface to hook up to the computer. It seems a bit pointless spending 20 quid extra on that just to get it to work on the PC. So I'm going to wait for the Steam controller to come out, and that will be universal because, like I say, it will operate like an Xbox 360 or probably an Xbox One, PlayStation 4 for the controller more than anything, especially with the new features that it has. As you can see on the screen, there's the dual trackpads, which operate much like on the PlayStation 4, also audio, so they have mini speakers in the bottom which can do the speaker controller interface parts that there will be in some games, and also they act like little shocks, so they will vibrate under the trackpads. I've never been a particular fan of trackpads because on the PC, on laptops, often when you're trying to track it clicks, so it thinks you're doing a left click. As long as they've removed that feature, then I can get along with it. But that's in essence like pressing L3, R3 on the control pad, so they'd have to move a new button for that, which I don't appear to see on the screen. They've added the additional section in the middle, which is the 4 buttons, which is also going to be like a mini screen, so it'll be similar to the Wii screen where you can have like a heads-up interface on the screen. They've also made everything fully hackable, so you can modify everything to however you want it, change the controls if you like, but the essence is that the controls will be backwards compatible, so even games that aren't necessarily programmed for this, like very old games, then you could just use it as a dual to key interface and still have it operate perfectly fine. Now I'm going to switch to the other screen, where we have a better view of the concept. So as you can see, it's got a picture on the screen and there's a chat button and an options thing, which is different to the 4 buttons that it showed. So it's meant to be in 4 sections, but maybe it also has individual, touchscreen interface. You could tell from that particular image. Again, I miss the joysticks because on old controllers, you would have joysticks, and yeah, they got rid of them for a while for just D-pad, but it was cool for them to be on, so that's why you ended up with the dual stick control pads, because people wanted them on. Maybe if the trackpad operates in, you see how there's concentric circles, maybe you could just hold down at the top rather than drag and drag and drag, and it'll operate in the same way as a stick, but it's hard to say, and with the D-pad gone completely, and just weird controls all over the place, it's going to be a lot more difficult for people to get used to the new layouts of things. Especially if they still continue to have the PlayStation 4 or the Xbox One with their control pads. It's very different in the layout. Maybe this might change in 2015 again, it's still not out. They did have some people beta testing it, I wasn't lucky enough to do it because they didn't really go based on press. They did do minor, like a few people in the press got some, but then most of them went on a lucky dip to people with Steam accounts. At the same time, they were also highlighting big picture mode, which hardly anyone really pays attention to because it's this controller at the top and no one seems to notice it. But the main thing about this is it's actually like a control console itself. So, very similar to the PlayStation layouts. You've got the store, I've got unread messages, I don't know what they are. Operating this on the keyboard isn't as easy. Oh, it's news. It's basically the same as when Steam suggesting 6 downloads in progress, so we'll ignore that. See friend activity and profile, and the aim is that you can put this on your TV, for example, rather than having things so you could just operate statuses, see what people have been up to, same as in your normal Steam activity, although my activity doesn't seem to be showing up on it. Anyway, get me back out of this. Back into the library. The library is minimised back down, well, it's got my most recent games, but it's minimised down to games that you can actually play on the control pad mostly, rather than, although a lot of them still have their images, which is quite funny. But yeah, rather than just every single game you own, despite the changing actually, because there do seem to be quite a few different things. So it might be up to date now that it features every single game. It's going alphabetically, it's telling me going to be Back to the Future episode, that's some Zombie Slasher and all this. And that's also what the Steam operating system will be on the new SteamBoxes that people... I don't have any music. Oh, apparently I do. That's different. I had no idea I had any of this music. Maybe it just came with the games. Strange. Hey. Screenshots. These are my screenshots. It's not showing the videos, which is showing, it should show you YouTube videos as well. It's probably in cloth. That's how you activate products. Anyway, what was I saying? Yeah, the new SteamBoxes, they're Linux, they're not Windows, so that might cause a lot of problems for some people. It's a modified Linux, they've put their own coding and different things like that, and again, it's fully hackable. And they intend for it to run like a console pretty much, but it's going to have browsers and everything that you'd normally want, and that's why there's a lot of programs now in Steam rather than just games, so these programs are cross-compatible, so they will work on the new Steam operating system and the new SteamBox. And some people are like, oh well, this won't change things, people will still have their own PCs. But then you have that with Android phones as well. Mostly people are on Internet Explorer, and then Android phones came out, and you know, it was forced on Google browser, so everyone wrote things for the Google browser, and now that's been pretty much forced on people because half of the stuff doesn't work on Internet Explorer, so half of the internet doesn't work. What are you going to do? You're going to have to go to Google Chrome, so that's why now 50% of people use Google Chrome, and it'll probably be the same with Linux. If everyone's got SteamBoxes, then they're going to have Linux systems rather than Windows systems, and there's going to be a lot more Linux things produced in that capacity because all the gamers and developers will have that rather than Windows PCs, and then who knows what the market will be then. But I think that there will be a bigger upgrade to Linux if people have been essentially coerced into it, shall we say, rather than forced. And I think it will make a big difference on the market because Steam is such a big platform, and people are anticipating the SteamBoxes, which have been specially programmed to be optimized for these games and for running like this. So it's essentially a mix of a console and a PC. And if you've got a console PC, like all consoles have been these days, it's like, oh, we've got TV compatibility and all this and all that, like they were saying with the Xbox. And this doesn't come with the features where you have to have your computer constantly on every 6 days or it will kill your computer completely, and the constant filming of the Kinect, which you have to have turned on, watching your every move, threatening to tell everyone what you've been watching and what you've been doing whilst you've been watching certain videos and playing certain games, and what you've been doing in front of the computer with your girlfriend and whatever. Yeah. Automatically uploaded. what they were thinking when they did that at launch, I don't know. So obviously they went back on all that because that put a lot of people off buying the Xbox One, let me just say. I was going to do parody things, but I'm not good at drawing cartoons and art. So that never happened. It would have been quite funny if they were taking the piss out of all that. But hey, so yeah, this is what we'll look forward to with Steam in the coming year. And most importantly, everyone's been going, ooh, Half-Life 3 for years and years and years. If you think about it, Half-Life was PlayStation 2 era, Half-Life 2 was PlayStation 3 era, Xbox 360 era, you know? So, now that the new consoles have finally come out and there's a step up in the quality of the games and the actual coding behind them, and it's not the same program behind it, like they were going to do Half-Life 2.3, not Half-Life 3 with the book outs and everything, but Portal became so popular that they didn't do that, so they had Portal 2 as its own thing. So now, Half-Life 3 is more likely to come out, and the best part of that is like, yeah, there's free-to-play games coming out from Valve because they get more money from it, because people don't buy games mostly because of all of the bundles, and they won't pay more than $1 for 6 games and they won't pay full retail, whereas people in free-to-play games will pay £300 on cosmetic items in one game. It's a balance of, yeah, there's people who will pay it and there's the people who won't, and there's people who will hack it and get it illegally, and the whole argument of, oh, but these bundles stop them getting illegally. No, because people who wouldn't have got it illegally are now got the games for dirt cheap that probably would have paid full price or at least discounted price. So, arguments each way. Anyway, with that, there's Half-Life 3, the actual story game, but then there's Half-Life 3 Deathmatch, which they could also launch, because there's a Half-Life 2 Deathmatch, but that's kind of underground, unnoticed, and paid for. But Half-Life 3, they could make free-to-play on their free-to-play scale, and have lots of cosmetics and lots of fun items and characters to unlock and different things, so that's a lot of things that could happen with that. And again, Team Fortress, big franchise, so there'd be Team Fortress 3 on the new upgraded platforms and whatever programming and fingers behind that. And my computer's gone into hibernation mode on big picture mode with bubbles, which I didn't know would happen. So yeah, plenty to look forward to, and I think that they will be doing that. Maybe Team Fortress 3 will just come out natively free-to-play, because Team Fortress 2 came out as a paid game to start with, but I think they've got more the idea that the free-to-play earns them more money because they sell more of the cosmetics and they have more people playing. And sure, there's people who don't buy any cosmetics and don't unlock any chests. That's another goldmine for them, all the chests and all the keys that gets unlocked, especially with some particular YouTubers. Gambling addiction. It's quite funny, but quite sad at the same time, because they're spending quite a lot of money on losing and not even getting a knife or whatever they're searching for on that particular game. So, again, they can apply all these scales to these games and still have the plots to it. I don't think there'll ever be a plot to Team Fortress 3, you know, there's not a single player mode, it's just an online game. But Half-Life 3, they would have to have the story and plot. But at the same time, like I said, there's the free-to-play Half-Life Deathmatch, which would be fantastic. Perhaps they could even team up with Gary's Mod and, like, you know, something, because Half-Life 3, it's basically the Half-Life 2 engine on Gary's Mod, so Gary's Mod 2.0 for Half-Life 3 engine, who's to say, maybe? I think that that would work out quite well in both their favours, Gary Newman and Valve. So it's exciting to see what could happen now that the new consoles are out, and hopefully I will get to have a beta prototype to show you before the thing launches, and show you exactly how it goes, and whether it's constant trackpads or you can actually use it like a proper gamepad. And, you know, I'd be quite annoyed if I paid for it and it was just trackpads and irritating and constantly clicking, and rather than just holding down the direction like they do on a gamepad with the sticks, because because you don't want to be constantly going, walk forward, walk forward, walk forward, and that's quite frustrating. I think there's even a trackpad on the back, like on the PlayStation. There's no motion sensor though that I am aware of, but they could be implementing that. But again, playing that on the PlayStation 4, that was quite annoying. I can't remember what the game was, but it's in my Easy X video, where you're looking around by moving the control pad. Maybe it was too close to the actual console because they didn't want people running off with it. But really, you couldn't look around doing that. And yeah, maybe they were trying to go, look, you're picking up the object and rotating it around. But it was just really, really annoying to do. So, thank you for watching, and I will see you around.